Let's pray together. Father, you have so many different ways that you have of demonstrating your great love for us, your care for us. One of the ways in which you have demonstrated that love toward us is you've given us the privilege of living in a place like Moncks Corner. We thank you for our mayor, for the town council members. We thank you for the servants' hearts that you have created within them. We pray that you'll continue to watch out for our first responders, the fire, the police departments, the EMS workers, those who have to face such challenging situations on a daily basis, sometimes having to make life and death situations. Watch over them, protect them, give them the wisdom they need to know how to handle every situation that they encounter. Thank you for all the folks within this town that serve, all the administrative staff, the maintenance staff, everyone who gives of themselves so that we can have the quality of life that we now enjoy. The council is going to be making a lot of decisions tonight. I pray that you will give them wisdom that can only come from you to not only be able to determine what is a good thing to do to what is the best thing to do. Not what only is the thing that addresses the moment's needs, but also for what's going to be coming in the future, because only you know that which is far, far ahead. How good it is to know that we can place our faith and our trust in you. Your word says when we lack wisdom, let us ask of you, and you will give to him in abundance. And so may you pour out that wisdom on this body tonight. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of Allegiance will be done by Council Member Law.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, tonight we have a special presentation, fiscal year 2025 audit presentation from the Baird Group LLC. Please come up, introduce yourself, and tell us how good we're doing.
All right. If my computer will recognize me. There we go. All right, my name is Jason Lawhorn. I'm the managing partner of the Baird Audit Group, located out of Augusta, Georgia. And so I've got your results here for fiscal year ended September 30th, 2025. The audit results at a glance, fiscal year 2025 was a favorable result. It was an unmodified opinion. On the financial statements, there were no material weaknesses reported, no material non-compliance reported, and no audit findings. What this means for the council, the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. There were no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses. No material compliance issues were reported under government auditing standards. Federal award reporting was also favorable with no findings or question costs. The scope of the audit, management's responsibilities are to prepare and fairly present the financial statements, maintain internal control over financial reporting, and provide supporting records, estimates, and disclosures. Our responsibility as the auditors are to obtain reasonable assurance through audit procedures, testing of evidence on a sample basis, and then report the audit opinion and required findings. The financial position of Moncks Corner remains strong for fiscal year ended 2025 with positive results and healthy liquidity. There was $34.7 million total net position. there was 21.4 million in fund balances. I also want to note that the total net position was up by about 4.9 million for fiscal year ended 2025. There was 16.5 million in the general fund unassigned, and then 28.8 million of capital assets, up about 5.7 million from the previous year. If we look at the net position composition, 63% net investment in capital assets with 17% restricted and 20% unrestricted. The takeaway here is that the town maintained strong reserves while continuing to invest in long-term public assets. Revenues exceeded expenses, 26.1 million in total revenues, 21.2 million in total expenses, which is what brought about your change in net position of 4.9 million. Primary year-over-year drivers, property taxes increased about 1.5 million, primarily from higher assessed values. Capital grants and contributions increased about 1.1 million, primarily from ARPA revenue recognition. Charges for services decreased about 1.2 million, primarily from lower building permits, and then expenses increased about 3 million, primarily from salaries and benefits. General fund and budget performance. Actual results were better than the final budget. 86% unassigned fund balance as a percentage of expenditures, 1.1 million revenues over budget, mainly property taxes, 1.3 million expenditures under budget, which is always a favorable result, and then a 3.6 million fund balance decrease, less than budgeted. Just context for the decrease in the general fund balance. Transfers were made to support capital improvement and abatement improvement projects. The actual decrease was below the budgeted decrease of approximately 6.1 million. Reserve levels remained strong after planned uses. Capital investment. Net capital assets increased about 5.7 million or 26%. Major additions included Harmony Park and Fox Bank intersection improvements. Capital assets support services and infrastructure over multiple years. The debt profile. Long-term debt decreased about 905,000 from principal payments. Bonded debt subject to the 8% legal limit was 691,000. Unused legal debt margin was approximately 8 million. For fiscal year 2025, it reflects a continued investment in long-term assets alongside scheduled debt reduction. There was an unmodified opinion on compliance for major program. It looks like there was a COVID-19 coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. No federal material weaknesses or significant deficiencies reported. No federal award findings or question costs. No schedule of expenditures of federal awards findings. In closing, unmodified opinion on the financial statements. No reported material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, material noncompliance, or audit findings. No federal award findings or question costs. The town ended fiscal year 2025 with a strong financial position and healthy general fund liquidity. That was quick.
Yes.
Any questions?
I looked to Chad for that one.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think David said that, this is strong leadership from our town administrator, Jeff Lord, to our finance director, Justine Lovell, to all the department heads. Y'all are doing the work day after day to make sure that we stay in this great financial position so we're able to do things in the future that we have planned. So thank all of y'all for what you do. All right, next, we did have an awards presentation from the police department, but we are going to defer that until next month. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting minutes, April 21st, 2026. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Mayor's report. I'll try to get through this quick. April 22nd, attended rec softball night at Berkeley High School. Around 50 girls participated. It was a wonderful evening for everyone involved. I had provided hot dogs and drinks for all attendees. April 22nd, I also attended the public comment session for the SS4A Safety Action Plan traffic study. April 23rd, I attended a ceremony honoring Mr. Bobby Hemley for his 75th year as a member of the American Legion. April 23rd, I participated in our first ever Autism Awareness Day, Lighted Up Blue. This was a well-attended and meaningful event. I want to thank Chief Jackson for bringing this ideal forward from his time in Chester. April 26th, I visited the Youth State Bowling Tournament at Swamp Fox Lanes, where hundreds of youth bowlers from across the state competed over 3 weekends. April 29th, Susan Gilmore and I judged a student art show at Bonner Elementary. I awarded special paintbrush ink pens to the winners. May 1st, I was invited to the Unified Prom at Berkeley Middle School. We had a great time celebrating with the students. May 2nd, I attended the police department promotion ceremony. May 3rd, I stopped by the Scouting America Luncheon at Wampee. I'd come across several 1940s Boy Scout things at a flea market, and I donated it to them. Councilman Dennis was also in attendance. May 8th, attended the ribbon cutting for Salt and Light. That was a very well-attended event. Councilwoman Lloyd, Councilman Dennis, Leroy, you was there. Councilman Dingle was there. So that was a really, really well-received ribbon cutting. I attended the Berkeley High School ladies basketball celebration on May 9th, where they cut down the nets. May 9th, I also visited the recreation fields to speak with fans attending the travel ball tournament. May 12th, I attended a luncheon at the fire department in remembrance of firefighter Drew Kelly. May 14th, I spoke at Leadership Berkeley at Santee Canal Park, sharing updates on several exciting developments in the town of Moncks Corner. Also on May 14th, I attended the 75th anniversary celebration of the Town and Village Garden Club and presented a proclamation from myself and council to the group. May 15th, I attended the Law Enforcement Appreciation Luncheon hosted by Moncks Corner Police Department. It was a great time of fellowship and an opportunity to express our gratitude. Chief Richardson and leadership cooked the meal, served the meal. Zelda did a great job, and it was just a really good event. Also on May 16th, I attended the Victory Missions Car Show. May 16th, had another travel ball tournament. I like to go down there, meet, greet, see where everyone's from, tell them about different restaurants and businesses in town. May 18th, I spoke at the Scouts America meeting in Panopolis. A little special shout out to my mother-in-law, Helen Huggins. She turns 99 on Sunday, and our family is just so thrilled that she is here to celebrate. And finally, from council and myself to all the graduates, be it high school, college, we have a couple up here with high school graduates. Congratulations. We wish you the best in whatever you have coming up in your life. Upcoming events, Art in the Park, Friday, June 5th, Unity Park. Local artists will have work on display and guests can enjoy live music throughout the evening. We're having a street dance featuring the Custom 4 and Friends Friday, July 3rd at Unity Park from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Bring a chair and enjoy a fun night of music and dancing. Independence Day celebration. We are doing it on July 4th this year, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. The event field at the Moncks Corner Recreation Complex, featuring live performances by Vinyl Days and Randall Fowler. Bring a chair and enjoy fireworks and festivities. Halloween Festival will be Wednesday, October 28th, 5:30 to 8, Main Street at Unity Park. Trick-or-treating, family activities, festive fall atmosphere, fall picking in the corner, Saturday, November 14th, Main Street 10 to 3, antiques, crafts, live music, local vendors. Third annual tree lighting will be Friday, December 4th, Unity Park, 5 to 8. School groups will perform and kick off the holiday. And finally, a nighttime Christmas parade, Saturday, December 5th, 6 p.m. at Main Street. And that concludes my report. Administrator Lord.
Thank you. Mayor and Council, we're going to start off with an introduction. Chief Jackson has somebody to introduce to you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I want to introduce Noah Noble. He comes to us with experience from being active guard Army firefighter from 2019 to 2024, and then coming back to Berkeley County in August of 2024 and started with St. Stephen's Fire Department. And now he's full-time with us, started May 2026. So we want to welcome firefighter Nobles.
Welcome.
Thank you. I do have a couple of project updates for you. The Winter Street Bridge Replacement Project is under construction, so that one is underway and anticipated being done by August because we want to apply for the next grant in September, so that's our goal. The Main Street striping project has hit a roadblock. Just to let you know, this is where we're going to try to paint the parking spaces on Main Street. DOT is now looking at the site triangles as being obstructed by these potential parking spaces, even though people park there now, marking them as a concern. We're working to see if we can't resolve that so we can carry that forward. But right now, it does have a major roadblock. I wanted to let you know about opportunity zones. So opportunity zones was a new incentive, tax incentive for development in areas that could use the help created in 2018. Those zones are lapsing, and Moncks Corner has one. It is the census tract that basically is the core of Moncks Corner on this side of 17A. And so that one is, it's what it allows somebody to do is if they're going to invest in development in town, then they can take tax incentives, breaks on moving money over from other developments. But what's important here is that they're going to be redone. And so the state is now currently taking applications. There are two in Moncks Corner, two census tracts which qualify. We are preparing to submit both of them for consideration. The governor is the ultimate decider, and he can only choose 25% of the eligible tracts. So we made it through last time, and hopefully we'll make it through again this time, but just want to let you know that we are working on that. And the last thing is we are almost done with our draft budget, so I will be reaching out to you soon to schedule our first budget meeting. And if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
Jeff, where are those two census tracts that we're looking at?
So and it's only two that qualify, so we don't have any choice in which ones, but it's the one before I mentioned to you, which is the core of Moncks Corner from 17A this direction. And the other one is the same area, 17A, the other direction.
Got it. Thank you.
New business, consideration SS4A Safety Action Plan. Stuart Day with Stantec will present.
Thank you, council. Appreciate you letting us be here to present to you tonight on this project that we're excited about. It's a very important project, and last month, one of my colleagues, Josh Mitchell, was here presenting on some of the more detailed elements of the plan. Unfortunately, I had a family emergency tonight, so you're stuck with me. So I'll do my best. But so just to real quick go over what I'm going to talk about tonight is just kind of the updates from last month, what happened. We'll review the action plan summary and then also talk about the presentation for adoption tonight. So we always want to start with why this project. And so once a month over the past 10 years, basically, someone is killed or seriously injured on roads in Moncks Corner. So the federal government has a safety action, or SS4A grant, that it's a competitive process, but it makes you eligible for this plan, as well as implementation grants to potentially fund projects for safety countermeasures to be implemented. So just want to reiterate why we're here to talk about that. Since last month, we did, as the mayor mentioned, he attended the public engagement meeting where those safety analysis results were shown. We talked about how we identified those priority corridors, and then we showed actual concepts for each corridor and got public feedback on each one of those. And as you can see in that bottom right picture, the town's very own Justin Westbrook made the local news talking about this project. So appreciate you being there. And then finally, we worked with town staff to finalize the report and document everything in the report, which is before you today, that meets all those US DOT guidelines to maintain eligibility for future funding. And so want to just talk about those. There's 8 guidelines. It all starts with leadership and commitment and the goal setting, which y'all have done with the Vision Zero. Then goes through various steps, including the safety analysis, which is very detailed in this report. Talks a little about potential for policy and process changes, and then develop strategies and specific goals and potential countermeasures for each corridor that was identified. And then finally, number 8 is finally adopting that plan, which is before you tonight. So very high level overview of the action plan. We looked at the entire town limits and all the crash data, and then identified those countermeasures that could be considered that are proven to reduce those types of crashes that we identified and looked at closely. And we also identified those in short-term countermeasures that are sort of the low-hanging fruit that maybe we can go and implement at a quicker pace. And then some of those midterm and then longer-term countermeasures that could be considered that maybe take a little more time to implement. Then in the action plan towards the back, each one of these corridors has a cut sheet that is a very high-level, simple sort of one-pager for each corridor that identifies all the crashes, shows where they are on the corridor on top of an aerial with the streets. It identifies those countermeasures, similar with icons. And then also we went one step further to sort of create a conceptual recommendation in a detailed fashion at the bottom. And then on that, we also identified all the costs associated with the various corridors and those countermeasure improvements that could be implemented. So in addition, one of the guidelines, as I mentioned, also talks about potential policy strategy changes or things that could be considered. So again, we've identified those in sort of a near-term policy strategy, as well as a mid and long-term strategy that could be recommended. So with that, the policy or the presentation for adoption tonight, the resolution, it's really, I want to just highlight, there's 4 main elements to this resolution. There's the adoption of the safety action plan, which is before you. There's reiterating the goal of reaching 0 traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries, evaluating the future transportation projects for consistency with the strategies identified in this plan, and then authorizing the town administrator, Jeff Lord, to represent the town in implementing the plan, and including that includes grant applications, which we're working with Jeff and the staff on right now, and then coordinating with regional partners. So with that, I will take any questions, or Jeff, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I wanted to express my gratitude to Stuart and the team from Stantec. We gave them a very aggressive timeline to accomplish this, and as you can see from the report, it did not lose in thoroughness and accuracy. It is a very, very good report. with really good strategies that we can implement going forward. And our intent is to apply for the implementation of 3 of those strategies next week. So we're excited to be able to get this done, but really excited that they were able to meet our timeline. So thank you and your team for that.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so we need to approve a resolution adopting the Safe Streets and Roads for All SS4A Safety Action Plan for the town of Moncks Corner. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Consideration bids to construct Dr. William H. Lacey Memorial Park. Administrator Lord?
Yes, very excited to bring this for you tonight. We've been working on getting Lacey Park rehabilitated for several years now. And if you'll remember, we already did this bid once. And we only received 1 bid, and we rejected it and we rebid it so that we can get better participation. So it was rebid, and then we received 7 bids. So of those 7 bids, 4 were determined to be responsive. 3 of them had failed to give the proper detail or acknowledge amendments that were issued. So we had 3 good bids of the 7. Now, I will say this, that the low bid was the low bid. The firm with the lowest price did not change for those 4 that were disqualified. So the lowest bid is $2,200,465 from MPS Construction. And we currently have $2 million in the budget for this. Now, obviously, we won't be finishing it this year, so we will be doing part of it in this fiscal year budget and finishing it in the next fiscal year budget. So that balance of $200,000 will have to work into next year's budget, which we can do.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? First reading, consider a zoning map amendment ZA-26-04, request for a parcel TMS 142-12-03-020, totaling just under .37 acres located at 417 Altman Street. The parcel is requesting to be zoned office and institutional C1. Justin?
Yes, sir. As you mentioned, this is the first reading for this rezoning case. It is currently zoned transitional district. The problem with the transitional district, as it is intended, it's supposed to transition from residential to commercial. However, all the commercial uses are lacking. So basically, anytime anybody comes to the town, comes to staff and say, we want to establish this commercial use in a TD, we don't have any by right zonings or by right uses for TD. So often, instead of going in front of Board of Zoning Appeals, which is very heavy on the legalities as well as quasi-judicial processes, staff usually recommends where it's appropriate to just rezone to a commercial district, the least of which being the C1 office institutional in terms of impact. So that's what our request is for tonight, or at least the applicant's request. As I mentioned, the permitted uses for TD only includes 1-family detached dwellings with accessory dwelling units. There's a couple of special exceptions in there, and everything else would require to go in front of the Board of Zoning Appeals. This is the property highlighted here on Altman Street. You can see the county facility at the bottom right hand of the corner. You can start to see, I think that's the railroad right-of-way up there in the top left corner of the property. I believe that's Barron's 015, maybe a couple blocks off, but you can kind of get the sense of where you are. And just outside of the frame is the old Burger King site. As you can see, as mentioned, you can see the C1 creeping down Altman Street. That is not unusual. We do see that as Hetley, where Altman turns into Hetley at the railroad tracks. And obviously at the other end with the county building and some of the commercial C2, this just makes a lot of sense to be adjacent to C1. The property is adjacent to R1, which is can be problematic. The property immediately to the west is already an office institutional type use, a medical supply retailer. Same property owner as the request, and there's a couple single-family detached dwellings behind it. Office institutional is light commercial uses with a restaurant that is the applicant now. That's not what y'all are voting on. You're voting on C1, but I did want to be very clear and transparent that the request is for a small sit-down restaurant and commissary kitchen for a well-known Catering, apologize. So permitted uses in C1, this is what you were voting on. Personal service establishments, offices, insurance, real estate, beauty school, beauty shops, banks and the like. Again, very office institutional type uses. It's not gonna be Walmart, it's not gonna be fast food. Hotels, lodging houses, this property is 0.34 acres. If you can get a hotel on that, then, you know, we got bigger problems. But private clubs. The question tonight is are you willing to allow all of these uses? Because that is the request in front of you. And there is quite a few in there that could be problematic. Now, the other aspect of it is the town does have a change of use policy with regards to parking, landscaping, and the like. So any use that goes in there should be theoretically buffered from the residential adjacent to it. But again, with the changing of Altman and Hetley, we feel that the residents in the neighborhoods probably kind of already feel it's going. And again, it goes without saying, and I apologize for not saying this earlier, this property was currently used as an office institutional type use with a medical. So it's not gonna change that big of a difference from what's currently used to C1, but it does allow for a little bit more openness in the future. At this point, staff does not require a separate TIA for the property. It is not consistent with town character residential, which is the comp plan. You'll have the ability to look take that into account is the best phrase to use. It is not the defining reasoning behind any decision y'all make. It's just another data point that y'all include. But comp plan does show this as town character residential, as you can see in that light yellow. You can see the red starting to creep in from the left and the pink, which is the institutional, coming in from the right. However, the property is covered by our mixed use overlay in the same comp plan, which does have select roadways for low intensity service-based commercial, i.e. restaurant with a catering business in it, to expand economic opportunities and daily services along local roads. And they've got Broughton and Carolina Avenue, but Altman and Hetley are covered by this as well. So the comp plan is a little contradictory. On one hand, town character residential, no. On the other hand, mixed use overlay, yes. And at that point, we do take the overlay as the preceding factor. It is in harmony with one goals and implementation strategies of the comp plan. To recap, it is not consistent with town character. It is consistent with the mixed use overlay and is consistent with one goals and strategies, implementation strategies. This is the first reading. Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve this. First reading is tonight, with second reading going forward June 16th. I'm available for any questions. The property owner and applicant are in attendance. Should y'all have any questions of them?
Motion to approve.
I'm going to second that, but I have a lot of questions and some
Okay.
concerns.
So, any discussion? Councilman Long?
Justin, when you say small restaurant, I'm looking at this property. How big is this property?
0.36 acres, something like that.
How much parking can we get on that, including handicap accessibility parking?
That's for what use?
I thought they wanted to do a restaurant.
Well, what they want to do is C1. That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
What they want to do for restaurant, it depends on how many tables they have. So it's unsure, but
That
we
is
would
the
look at that.
use that they're wanting or not?
Y'all aren't approving a use. Y'all are approving
I
a slew
understand
of
that.
uses. What they are requesting is restaurant, and without a floor plan, which they've not provided, at least I'm aware of yet, that parking is based on the number of tables. So for example, if it was just a kitchen, they wouldn't have any tables, so no parking would be required.
So access point onto that road, directly across the street, how many of those properties are currently residential properties?
Residentially
across
used or
it.
zoned?
Residential use.
Most of those, including the C2, are residentially used.
The one on the corner to the left is currently a medical supply, is that correct?
Yes, sir. 019. You can't see it because the mic's attached.
Okay, what is the 040 currently being used at? Is that parking for that corner property?
No, sir, I don't believe so. I believe it's a residence. It looks like there's a structure in there. I could be wrong about that, though.
Okay, and to the right side of that property, is it currently a residence?
I don't believe so. It looks like it's got parking in the front.
Nope, to the other right, to the right overhead, to the left from Altman Street, sorry.
The one on the
Corner of Fairlawn Drive.
I believe that's commercial, but I'm not 100% sure on that one.
She had
I think 040 is a warehouse behind that.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I believe corner of Fairlawn Drive is a residence.
I think that's commercial.
I don't think anybody's in there now.
Could be.
It was a rental.
And then the meat agency's a little farther down, Georgia Track.
But she owns the business on the corner, Dennis Avenue and Alton.
I think my biggest concern is the access getting into that location and out of that location, depending on what it's going to be. Can you go back to the, I mean, if we don't know what that use is gonna be right now, we're rezoning for a use that we really don't have a clue what it's gonna be. Is it gonna be a restaurant with 20 tables, or is it gonna be catering that has no incoming traffic?
But at that point, staff reserves the right to do a TIA based on the use presented to us. So we would, for example, if it was a restaurant with 80 tables, more than often than not, they wouldn't have enough parking, to your original point. The second
Sure.
point would be, at that point, staff would initiate the clause in the TIA that says if we feel it is a detriment to the area, and we always try to err on the side of caution. But again, the purpose of a TIA has to do with intersections, not driveways. So the intersection, the intersection that would be looked at would be Dennis and Fairlawn. It would not be how to get in and out of that. So TIA would not solve that problem regardless.
That's right. Have we heard from any of the property owners surrounding this?
No, sir. We have posted the property with the sign. The ad is to go out tomorrow for the 15 days as required by law. And because it's not conditionally zoned there, the applicant is not required to put up a sign beforehand. As is usually the case with, like, for example, the Dennis Track Townhomes or Weathers Track.
Can you put back up there what the uses would be once we approve C1?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And there's 3 slides here, so I apologize. Personal service establishments, which runs pretty much the gamut of very low impact commercial, non-residential uses. There's not many of them in that zoning district. In R1, R2, R3, it's very vanilla. Boutique retail and restaurants less than 2,000 square feet. Doesn't include gas stations. Drive-throughs prohibited. Hotels, lodging, college universities, private clubs, walk-in theaters, engineering, architectural, scientific research, professional, religious organizations, political organizations, labor unions. Utility services, excluding communications, funeral services, hospitals, automotive repair service, garage, which did come up in the planning commission, I believe. Parks, rec, railroads, debt services, agricultural services.
Can you go back one slide?
Yes, sir.
Why do we, private clubs, can you define what we're talking about here?
Private clubs is not actually defined in our zoning ordinance. Staff would make the interpretation that would be anything that is not a restaurant but serves alcohol or some sort of gathering space. We've got a couple in town that are scattered throughout, and some of them offer services to have baby showers and wedding showers. Some of them, unfortunately, do have parties that go in pretty late. But at that point, we would rely on the other town codes, such as nuisances, noise ordinances, things of that nature to ensure that's enforced and policed properly.
Due to the amount of residences right in that particular corridor, why would we not look at this as a conditional zone property?
Staff would not look at that unless it was specifically requested of us by the applicant, and the applicant chose to do straight zoning.
But they could come back and request a conditional zone for the use they want to use it for.
Yes, sir, they could, and generally speaking, that is staff's opinion. Not always, but it is our opinion on most cases. In this particular case, if they were to do that, they'd have to go back in front of planning commission. Not that I think that would be a problem since they overwhelmingly supported it. However, it is a change in application.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Do I have a motion?
You already had a motion in
Oh,
it.
I mean, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
We'll let it go.
Okay. Old business. There's no old business to be brought before council. Public input. If you signed up for public input, I will call your name. Please come to the podium. You will have 3 minutes to speak. This time is to give citizens a chance to give back feedback to town officials. If you would like a follow-up and have checked the box on the sign-up sheet, someone from the appropriate department will be in touch. This meeting is for the council and I to conduct the business of the town of Moncks Corner. We have one here, Mr. Paul Graff. If you could just give us your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Council Mayor, for seeing me.
My name is Paul Graff. I live on High Hill Drive here in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. I'm bringing this problem up because it's been an ongoing problem. My neighbors have chickens, ducks, roosters, you name it. It's a whole farmland over there. And within the year, these chickens of 30 plus maybe have destroyed the backyard, which is now nothing but waste and dirt. That's all the backyard is, and the chicken manure that they produce, which I know my family has a farm in the upstate with chicken houses. And the caustic that comes over when it rains, I have a pet. So now my pet's walking around on pesticides, stuff like, oh, mercy me, for instance, like, excuse me, I'm sorry, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. All these are fertilizers that will help grow, but they also kill at large amounts. How I know this, like I said, we have a farm, 120,000 chickens and 4 houses. I don't know what chicken litter can do. And the smell is just unbelievable. My next door neighbor complains about it. It's like I told him, you need to talk to somebody. You know, the smell is really bad, really bad. And it drives you nuts listening to the birds all day long. Roosters all day long, starting at 5:30 in the morning till dark 30. So I have some photos of the property, and I understand there were some other photos that was taken. I don't know if y'all would like to look at these. My wife and I spent our whole life, I moved here from Georgia over 30 years ago. I worked with the sheriff's office for 16 years. Worked for Charleston County government for 20 years. And this is just unbelievable. I mean, and they keep multiplying, and they keep buying, and they keep bringing these birds in. You're more welcome to have these photos.
Justin, can you come up to the podium, please? Roosters are not allowed, correct?
I'll need to double check that. Our
Yeah.
animal ordinance defers to Berkeley County. However, in talking with this gentleman, as well as making a site visit today, staff believes there may be cause for nuisance violations, which include smell and noises. And I personally have heard that rooster 4 times in 10 minutes while I was on site, and then down Whitesville Road as I was driving with my windows down. So,
Okay,
the
yeah, because
smell is also a
I'm
problem.
thinking that roosters are not allowed, so definitely let's start a case and we'll follow up on it. You know, our ordinances do allow chickens, but if it's a nuisance, a smell, then definitely, I don't know if you've got Justin's card, but if you don't,
Not yet.
please get it. And we'll definitely follow up on this for you.
Okay, I greatly appreciate it. I just, like I said, I have a pet, and I don't want him to start getting sick, and it can happen. Especially with chemicals as caustic as manure.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, executive session, can I have a motion to go into executive session to talk about contractual negotiations related to the downtown revitalization project, negotiations for the purchase of property related to economic development and infrastructure improvements? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are now in executive session.
Motion to go out of executive session and back into regular session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are now in regular session. There's nothing to come out of executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. We are now adjourned.
Thank you very much.
All right.